Hey, it's another week. What do you know?
Woo, three more.
Yeah. So, it's another week. It's a Sunday. Um, and we are in week 7 of the Godzilla series retrospective that we most lovingly call Go Gonzilla. And I am, of course, Gonzo Mike.
I am Mecha Tim. This week.
Did you just fart over there or something?
I don't think so. Oh, that would be a unaccounted for outside noise.
Oh, a fart then.
No, it was actually a car going by, but
yeah.
That's going to sound like a lame excuse, but there really was a car.
That's better than blaming the dog, I guess.
No, you don't hear the dogs. You just smell them.
Oh, sweet. Well, I'm here. I've survived. I got my Monster Energy drink here, which we are not advertising, but we'll take the money. Ooh. So I got that. But, yesterday I did a little bit of my own monster stuff, I guess. I did a little bit of a thing called Tough Mudder. So I'm kind of recovering. So on top of that, I'm also going to have a little bit of vodka with it. So we're going to be celebrating the fact that I am still alive here. It was like a radioactive breath to my ass, this event. If you're not familiar with Tough Mudder, basically you run around for 10 miles and you do obstacles. And it's like crazy stuff. Not unlike you would see, like, say, I guess Mogera from this week, one of these weeks, drilling into the ground and coming up full of dirt, or like Mothra using its flight abilities to fly across and jump into a 12-foot puddle of mud. So because I'm actually alive and able to rock another epidose of Go Gonzilla, I'm going to be celebrating an adult beverage here. So yeah. So that's that. And then Tim is with me as always.
Yes, indeed. I think they should have a Tough Godzilla or Toughzilla, where you have to destroy small miniature cities over the course of 10 miles. Plus, you could like wade through like a pool and be like a biathlon. Or
you could emulate what would be like to be eaten by Godzilla and digested through its radioactive system.
Could do that. Or you have to do the whole thing in a big rubber suit.
That would be cool.
Or just like a giant park full of Godzillas.
Nice. Yeah. Well, this week's episodes or movies, they actually introduced something like Godzilla again.
Well, let's see. What did they? I'm trying to. The very first one was Mothra and Godzilla again.
Yeah, we have, just to recap really quick, it's Godzilla versus Mothra, then we have Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla 2, but it's not a direct sequel. They're
2.
Yeah, and then we have Godzilla versus SpaceGodzilla, because, what's more terrifying than Godzilla in space?
Not to be confused with SeaGodzilla, who is actually Godzilla.
Or Bunyan Godzilla.
Or Time Godzilla.
Yeah, actually, that plays a part here too. So what we'll find out this week, especially, is that with the I want to say it's the Housei, what is it?
Inside.
Yeah, it's the Heisei, Heisei, Heisei. I'm gonna say Heisei. With the Heisei series that we're in the middle of, there is way more continuity between movies than what was expressed, especially toward the later end of the Showa series. And it made it rewarding for especially like us being able, watching all these movies to at least have some sort of familiarity with some characters from previous movies, and also some plot devices from other movies that kind of re-manifested itself into something different. So, but not to fear, there are some other continuing themes throughout these movies that aren't exactly too desirable, like ripping off other movie franchises.
I think there's more of that coming.
Yes, I could say that. So, the first movie we got is Godzilla versus Mothra, Battle for Earth.
And no. Godzilla versus Mothra, Battle for Earth. What was the start of this one? Giant egg.
Yeah. Well, you're missing. Oh, yes.
So
There's
that's
a giant egg. So
that's-
like, yeah, there's like a storm, crowd, mud washed away, and there's an egg.
Yes.
Yeah, and then there was also an opening. The human interest story revolved around this guy who was really trying to be Indiana Jones.
Oh yeah, I forgot
And
about
it was painfully obvious from the beginning.
that. He had a leather jacket, a hat. He steals an idol, and is booby trapped in a temple.
Yeah, and he steals an owl and he runs out, and as soon as he escapes, he has guns pointed at him and he's got to give up the thing that he found.
Where did they get such an idea?
You'll find out later on in this movie that they also took some other movies. I don't know if it was a ripoff or a send-up, but it was super obvious.
They borrow some things.
Boy, did they ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
So you got Indiana Jones knockoff, steals this little statue. Well, he tries to, and he gets put in jail. But he's kind of he's an archaeologist, or historian of some kind.
one of the cool kinds.
The cool kind where you wear leather jackets and, are kind of a scofflaw.
And womanize and cavort.
Yes. And he goes to jail, and apparently he's got friends in high places who he thinks are going to get him out of jail.
And
I'm trying to remember, they want him to go look at the giant egg that has appeared on this one island for after the mud has fallen away, and they're like, "We'll get you out of jail if you go do this." And he's like, "No way! I don't care. I'll get out of here in no time." And then the assistant with the group happens to be his ex-wife. Says, "You are. We got your sentence adjusted to something worse, so you're going to be in here for 15 years." And they leave him in there and walk away, only to have him be out in the next scene with them. So.
yeah, I mean, we come to find out that the lady who's also part of this expedition used to be his ex-wife. Or is his ex-wife. I don't know if there's a used to be ex-wife. That sounds a little bit more mortal.
Well, maybe by the end she used to be his ex-wife. His wife.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, so they head out there. They do a nice little send-up again to the original Mothra movie where the guy, he scrapes off the eggs to take samples and stuff like that. I thought that was pretty nice. And then what happens next? They basically, what do they do?
I think they get the egg. They're going to take the egg back and have it looked at. And so they get that thing out and put it on it. Is this the right one where they put it on the boat? There's 2 eggs in these movies.
Well, no, there's one in this, right?
There's one in this, but there's another egg in.
That was a meteorite. That was a meteorite at the beginning.
Wasn't there an egg with Rodan, and there was an egg with?
Oh, well, that's what we find out, right?
So there's this egg. This egg is actually going to end up being Mothra, and I don't remember what the hell they do with it that makes it crack open. It opens on the island, doesn't it?
Well, they put it on the boat, and then this other thing shows up. It's called Batra, right? And we learn this weird historical thing. Oh, and the twins show up. They're called the Cosmos twins now, not the twins from Infant Island.
Although they did find the egg on Infant Island, but
yeah. So so they get some historical writing, and they're reading all on the walls, and they're looking around.
there's cave paintings of Batra and Mothra. and they restore balance to the world. And there was once a great civilization who had everything figured out, and they tried to they dicked with the weather, and so Batra came and put them all down, and Mothra kind of balanced it out.
Yeah. So they kind of find out the story, right? And then I think only the ESP lady, now Miki, Mika. Yeah, she's in this again. She's the tentpole for this whole series, and she's in this one, and she kind of goes along. I think she goes along with the expedition because she, I think, is the only one that can see the Cosmos twins. So they tell her like what's up and what she needs to do, and then of course they go grab the egg, and again it's for this evil corporate guy, right? So the story from the first movie,
they say they're gonna study it, and really they want to make an attraction out of it, so that's a carryover.
Yeah, so I thought it was a nice little callback to the original one as well.
And we got the little box for people, which they all seem to have handy. A little carrying case for the two miniature Cosmos.
Yeah. So, so this meteor from the beginning of the movie crash and kind of wakes up Godzilla, but you won't see him for a bit.
They basically just say, "Hey, a meteor crashed," and they show him underwater going, "Roar, I'm awake."
Yeah, and then I think he wakes back up, and then the egg starts cracking.
But in the meantime, they've hooked it to a boat, and they're hauling it back to Japan.
Yeah, I like I like how they explain that away. They're just like, well, we're just gonna push it onto this thing.
Yeah, they got this egg out of a giant cliff, and they rolled it onto a little raft, and they hook it to this big boat. And Godzilla ends up showing up. The egg starts cracking. What
happens is Batra shows up.
Right. Batra pops out of the Arctic Ocean or the Bering Sea or somewhere.
Yeah, and that's what kind of triggers Mothra. Mothra cracks up, and they kind of start fighting a little bit. And all of a sudden, while they're still fighting, I memean, they release the cable to kind of release that thing they're hauling away because they don't want to be in the middle of that, right? So Batra and like Godzilla Mothra, the worm Mothra, fight, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, because it's Godzilla movie, Godzilla shows up.
He pops up right behind the raft, and it's time to go with Mothra and Batra and Godzilla.
Yeah, and then they have the cool G-force Godzilla detection over here, bloop bloop bloop, mid-90s computer technology graphics, and they all like. The Japanese, the G-force starts rallying the troops, and in the meantime, Batra, I think Batra, well actually it's a pretty cool fight between Mothra and Godzilla, right? Where
kind of fight, Batra meanwhile starts heading on to like wreck things up. So at least initially, Batra's starting to tear up the country while Mothra and Godzilla kind of have a back and forth going.
But like Batra accidentally like hits Godzilla, right? So
Yep.
So Mothra in the fight on the trailer was like hiding behind the boat trailer, like hiding behind it, popping its head up, and then all of a sudden Godzilla would wait and just blast it, and it blasted it and just flipped it right back into the water, right? But then like Batra comes in. And Batra's got, of course, evil monsters have like pointy things on their head that somehow emits lasers. So one of those
too, it should be noted.
Yeah, one of them gets a direct shot at Godzilla, and I'm like, uh-oh, you just tagged the wrong dude. Godzilla is a force of nature, as we're finding out, and he's neither good nor bad. He's just Godzilla, right? So he tagged Godzilla, and now Godzilla's got beef with Batra. So Batra's a lot bigger than Mothra, and Godzilla. Well, what do? They fight, and they fight underwater, right? And all of a sudden, like a volcano happens, and they both get sucked underneath the plates of the Earth, right?
They're fighting. They crack open the floor.
And that's Batra.
And that's Batra and Godzilla both get sucked down into like the vent of lava. So.
Well, that's the flying. That's the flying Batra. This is the worm. This is the worm Batra. So they're down in there and they're sunk, and like everybody's all cool. Like Mothra hightails it out in the water for some reason, and you think, hey, it's the end of the movie. Everybody's happy, right? Not so fast.
Let's see here. I'm all flooded with Godzilla images and eggs and dinosaurs and all kinds of crazy stuff. They go down the thing. Mothra's all good. Where does Mothra go?
Mothra, I think, just takes off.
Mothra goes back to the island to hang out and heal.
Yeah.
Because long morning, it cracks out of the egg and gets a big fight and tussle and ends up back on the island. And the twins are with the people in the city. And
the business guy needed to make up for losing this egg, so he stole the Cosmos twins.
Yes, and this is the Indiana Jones man actually kind of stole them first.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because then toward the end,
to make money to get back with his ex-wife.
Yeah, toward the end, we get this ridiculous daughter showing up, just shaming him into everything that he leaves.
I didn't have to steal, Daddy.
She got real annoying really quick.
She's the kid. She's the equivalent of the kid in tight pants in which one was it with Jet Jaguar? Is that Hedora? Which one did they have Jet Jaguar in?
You have Megalon.
Megalon. Okay, she's the equivalent of that kid.
Yeah.
She's just always like, "Hey, I like those monsters. They're all right."
So, Mothra, in the meantime, shows up in Japan. I don't know if it's in Tokyo, but what happens, and this is I'm surprised they didn't do earlier, and it was disappointing in the first Mothra, where like Mothra died, and then it was these larvae running around. In this one, we get the egg to larvae to now Mothra like attaches itself to a building and spins all its webs to kind of form a cocoon on the building. Because eventually we get the flying Mothra, and I thought that was really cool.
We get complete Mothra with the wings and colors and stuff. Not just larva Mothra. Mothra. So
that's what happens. Like Mothra shows up because the Cosmo twins, start singing
because they got kidnapped.
Yeah. And then the daughter shamed, the annoying daughter shamed
the dad into helping get the twins back.
Yeah, so, and then it's like, okay, look, they're okay, Mothra, stop destroying the city, right?
Mothra, and they back her off, and does Mothra take the twins with her at that point, or does she just leave? I think she takes the twins with her.
I think they do. They kind of explain a way where they just.
Uh-oh. Technical difficulties. Somewhere. Technical difficulties. Do. I don't know if it's still recording me. But I'll pretend it is. So the twins go back with Mothra. Some other point, Mothra's in a cocoon in the city. I take it back. She's Moth. She goes and gets the twins, flies away. Meanwhile, Godzilla and Batra had gone down into the lava. And business guy's freaking out. I'm trying to figure out what exactly happens. I do not remember that well. I watched it a couple days ago. It's a little foggy. Okay, so then Batra, there's a Mount Fuji, or a volcano like Mount Fuji, pops open, and out comes Batra from the fire, and whole deal is a meteorite woke up Godzilla, and it turns out that not too long after Batra comes out of the volcano, I don't know if it's still recording, but we'll find out. Godzilla comes out of the volcano too, and he's out wreaking havoc, and the island twins, the Cosmos, get Mothra and Batra to work together against Godzilla, and they have a big fight, and the whole idea is to get Godzilla back in the ocean, which apparently is the ultimate beat for him. So they carry him, they get a big fight. He really does a number on Batra, and Batra's going to die, but he kind of latches onto Godzilla, and they get him out to the ocean and drop him in, and Batra goes with him dead. It turns out that Mothra was, and I'm sure Mike will have some more details on this, Batra was coming out, was going to wake up in 1999 to stop an even bigger asteroid from coming to Earth. He was going to deflect it and keep it from hitting the Earth, and they ask Mothra if she'll come back and do the same thing since Batra can't do it, and she agrees that she'll go up into space and try to find this asteroid and try to redirect it so it doesn't hit the Earth in 1999 and kill everything. I'm trying to think what else happens with the little backstory there. So the dad's kid, the ex-wife and the dad are kind of getting along again. The kid's annoying, likes everything. I feel like there's a twist with the evil businessman. The evil businessman has a little henchman named Ando. Ando does all his bidding, except he feels guilty about how much environmental damage the company has caused, and eventually he does the right thing and won't help the boss anymore. And I think the boss's building gets destroyed at some point while he's in there. It's usually how it goes. But the environmental message is that this company has destroyed anyway, I'm going to check my phone here and see if... Okay, he went bonkers. All right. Okay. Yes, Mike is experiencing technical difficulties. His router went completely on him. So we'll see if he calls back in. Something to say about this one. You get a full tilt. Mothra goes up into space. And it's all great and magical. Godzilla's back in the water with Batra. And then I think they fall into a deep trench as well. And everything's fine except for all this destruction that occurred as in every movie. And what else? Anyway, this would be a good time to talk about... I'm going to deviate from Godzilla for a moment. We have another we'll be recording a new epidose for our audio podcast. It's on a movie called Abby. It's a blaxploitation exorcist that'll be probably going up at the end of this week. So look for it on Friday. Watch our Facebook page. Hasn't been real active as of late. That's on me. It will get active again. I'm going to pose some more questions. I get answers. You get prize packs. That's the way it works. We sent out 2 so far. All you got to do is listen or check the Facebook page. You don't even have to listen. We'd like you to listen. I put content. I throw out options there too. So we might up the prize ante. You might be, if you respond, you can have a guest pick of the film we watch, and we'll find it and watch it and review it for you. Some other ideas we bandied about, although we haven't fully agreed to them, are possibly, if someone is so inclined, picking a movie and being a guest call-in reviewer for it. But we haven't quite gotten there yet. Something else to keep in mind. So we got Abby coming up, and we'll have another... We should start getting those audio podcasts out, especially after Godzilla is wrapped. We'll be getting those out a little more frequently, probably at least 2 a month, if not 3. 4 is probably too ambitious. But anyway, if you have a movie, throw it on Facebook. You don't have to wait for us to ask for it. Throw us a suggestion. It's Gonzo Guys on Facebook. Follow us at Gonzo Guys on Twitter. We don't have a lot of followers, so jump in there and tweet us stuff, tweet us links, tweet us what you had for breakfast. We don't care. It's fine.